active circuitry, where the circuits we're most worried about today aren't silicon. They're the ones inside your own building, carrying a badge.
Juliana Rodriguez, senior editor, brings us into the world of insider threats, who they are, how they operate, and why the human element is both the biggest vulnerability and the first line of defense.
Let's start with who's actually inside the wire.
The classic image of a cyber attack is someone outside trying to break in. This post asks a harder question. What happens when the threat already has the keys?
The post frames it plainly. Insider threats are simply risks that originate from within an organization, whether through deliberate wrongdoing or an honest mistake.
And that word honest is doing a lot of work. It means the engineer emailing blueprints home for a late-night session isn't a villain until their laptop gets stolen on the flight back.
That's one of the concrete scenarios the post walks through. A set of drawings lands in unknown hands, not because of a sophisticated hack, but because of a routine shortcut. The other example is a marketing manager who pastes a client list into what looks like an internal memo. It's a phishing scam. No dark room, no masked hacker.
So the threat isn't always a disgruntled employee walking out with a USB drive, though that scenario gets its own mention too.
Right. The post lays out the full spectrum: deliberate theft, accidental exposure, and a third category that gets less attention: insiders who are recruited or coerced. A vendor offered a bribe, an employee who's blackmailed into sharing credentials. The post calls out social engineering specifically, targeting someone who is, in its words, tired or distracted, is more likely to make a mistake or accept a risky shortcut.
Which is everyone at some point on a Tuesday afternoon.
Third parties add another layer. Contractors, suppliers, IT specialists, they often need real access, and the post is direct about what that means. The company inherits not just the benefit of that relationship, but also the third party's vulnerabilities. One small vendor's weak credentials, the post notes, allowed attackers to move laterally into a larger client's network. Technology helps. Access logs, multi-factor verification, anomaly detection. But the post's closing argument is that culture carries the weight. A receptionist who flags a contractor in a restricted area, a colleague who questions an unusual file transfer, those moments matter.
The human element as both the problem and the patch. That tension doesn't resolve cleanly, and that's probably the point. Trust and caution held in balance. That's the actual security posture the post lands on.
It's a harder sell than a firewall, but the argument holds. More on where technology and human judgment intersect